Hello, my fellow Americans. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. Monday, September 17th, the year 2012. If you watched the other videos from this morning, you saw the deer were having a convention out in my front yard. It's kind of hard to call it a yard though, it's so big. It's not really a yard. Front of the house. Don't really have a front yard. Well, what I want to talk to you today is something that one of the viewers made a comment to my video response to Desarty 1. And he was saying that no great nation was multicultural. It was just, you know, a pure race were the ones that excelled. And I have been pondering that for a while. And he had some valid points. It's not something that you could just dismiss and say, oh, he's a racist, or oh, he's crazy, or oh, he's wrong. No, he had some valid points. But there was a false premise which basically negates the whole idea. You see, it's the individual, one single person, that does great things. Sometimes people work together, but an idea comes from one mind. There's no groupthink when it comes to ideas. Now, people can add to the idea, advance the idea, contribute, but the idea comes from one mind. And the point that I'm making is that countries are great because of the individuals. And I guess you could say America became the greatest. We were very diverse, but as the pendulum swings, we kind of swung it too far, and we took this multiculturalism and we basically made a mockery. We've perverted the idea. We've taken it to the absurd end. You see, sometimes not enough of something can be harmful. Just the right amount is all you need. Sometimes more is better, but then sometimes too much and it ruins it. Case in point, you like coffee? Keep adding sugar to it. You get to a point, if you keep adding sugar, it becomes sugar water and you spit it out. It's no good for you. But maybe without sugar, it's a little too bitter. So that's my point. Now, I'd like to read from Robert Ringer's Looking Out #1 about the individual and what makes countries great. Let's see, it's page 96 in the paperback. It's under the heading Intimidation Through Slogan. And I'm going to jump in the middle. Governments, of course, are the masters of intimidation through slogan, simply because they have the money, the manpower, and if needed, the guns to back them up. My candidate for the most intimidating government slogan ever tossed at the American public was John F. Kennedy's emotion grabber. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. The face was handsome. The personality pleasing. The smile captivating. But the words terrified me. Let's analyze this brilliantly conceived slogan carefully and logically. First of all, what is a country? It's a geographical area composed of In the case of the United States, over 200 million individuals. I've never asked 200 million people to do anything for me except not to interfere with my right to live a peaceful life. Ask what you can do for your country. Does this mean asking each of the more than 200 million individuals what you can do for him? No. Individuals are not what Kennedy or any other politician has ever had in mind when using the word country. A country is an abstract entity, but in political ease, it translates into those in power. Restated in translated form, then it becomes, ask not what those in power can do for you, ask what you can do for those in power. You wouldn't respond quite so eagerly if it were phrased in its true form, would you? On the contrary, you might laugh in disbelief. In this way, government fraud continues each year, slowly but surely convincing the masses that hell is paradise via a never-ending stream of clouded or meaningless phrases and slogans. The good of society, your duty to your country, the general welfare. Of course, they have a few Edsels they've given up on and put in the storage. Remember the win buttons? Whip inflation now. We were supposed to believe that badges and words would somehow negate the government's practice of pumping counterfeit bills into our money supply, the only true cause of inflation. Better dead than red, immediately we grab our pitchforks and lynching ropes and begin hunting for communists under our beds and behind our garbage cans. All men are created equal. Equal how? I won't insult your intelligence by explaining the obvious absurdity of this statement. There's strength in numbers. Maybe so, but I found that in most cases I have much better control over my destiny if I don't consult with others before acting. A penny saved is a penny earned. Who made this one up? The U.S. Savings and Loan League? A penny saved is a penny's less enjoyment or a penny that isn't invested profitably. The fact is you don't earn anything when you save. When your money is put in a banker's savings and loan, you lose. Your rate of interest is almost always less than the real inflation rate, not the rate published by the government, though it's usually lower than that one too. Don't be foolish. Immediately you lower your living standards by easing up on fuel consumption, right? But do you really have first-hand knowledge of what worldwide fuel situation but do you really have first-hand knowledge of the worldwide fuel situation, or are you just going by what you read in the papers? Did it ever occur to you that fuel companies and or governments might have ulterior motives for inundating you with slogans to get you to sacrifice? Give until it hurts. Hurts who? How much hurt? Why? Never allow yourself to be intimidated by a slogan, whether its intended meaning is good or bad or by your standards is not the issue. A slogan is not, of and by itself, a valid reason for taking or not taking action. A rational man bases his behavior on facts. More often than not, the real purpose of a slogan is to keep you in line, to prevent you from looking out for number one. Now, as you were listening, you have to think back. This book was written in 1977. At least that's the copyright. So, as you can see, my fellow Americans, it's the individual. You, the individual. But it seems as though we've got people in power now who are saying that, you didn't build something yourself. You need to give up part of your pie so others can have it. See, that's not what made America great. It's the rugged individual made America great. I mean, the pioneers, the people who got in wagon trains and went across this country into unknown areas through all kind of hardships. I mean, weather, disease, famine. I mean, they endured, but as rugged individual, there was no government to give them anything. Food stamps? No. If you were hungry, you either grew it or picked it or hunted it or fished it. Which, by the way, I got a video coming up on fishing. Stay tuned. Back to the point. The individual, you know, ask not what somebody can do for you. Ask what you can do for yourself, and then do it. Wake up, America. Smell the tyranny.